How's everybody doing, man? 9 pound hammer here. So I tell you guys, I was trying to, and I want to make this little video to tell people. I've been trying to come up and find a way to take wire resistors and make RF dummy loads and stuff. And I can get them to work because typically with RF dummy loads, you're not wanting to use a wire wound resistor because the wire wound resistor will act as an inductor. It'll actually cause the transceiver to not be real happy because of the wire rounding. You really need to use different types, metal film, different types of resistors. So in one of my videos, I'd made a couple of samplers and stuff, and I got them to where they work. But once you start getting, close to the limit of the resistance, it really starts it starts acting as an antenna inside that little box. And so this video is just to let you guys know, man, use the metal films or other type of resistors if you're playing around with dummy loads or RF sampling ports. The wire resistor was giving me a real ugly, dirty sample because the resistor, with it having wire in it, was radiating. That's kind of like an antenna down in there, and causing a big ohmic drift. So long as you keyed up, which when you're checking, but when you went to modulate, it would really affect the resistor. So we decided to not do that. And what I'm referring to, guys, let me just show you guys so you know. Don't use these to make dummy loads. I've tried it. I've seen other people trying it on the internet. You want to use these types of resistors, or better or bigger, but you want to use something that's 5 or 10 watt. Don't use these, guys. Don't use these. These wire round resistors, they don't work the way you want them to work with RF. Now what I mean is, like on a center conductor or a loaded RF load, they'll act as a they really conduct real bad and stuff. The way they, even though you can have a 50 ohms and have it the right impedance, when you put a load into it, they really go to shit. These work fine. They're carbon resistors and carbon film. But I remember, guys, that you can put, when you're doing dummy loads and stuff, when you do stuff in series, if you take and twist resistors together, say you have a resistor that's 100 ohms and you twist them together, well, it's 50 ohms. And you got to remember that when you're coupling resistors, the impedance, I was just looking to see. Also, I use these, let's see if I got any in here. They're old school 5 waters. Well, here's a 2 water. These will work. But you gotta have 50, they gotta be in 50 ohms, obviously. These are what I recommend. Get these in 5 watt. 5 watt, 50 ohms. These are what I make my dummy loads out of. except I make them in the 5-watt version. You can also use these older style. Obviously they got to be in 50 ohms. Don't use the sandbar stuff. I use those sandbar stuff in biasing circuits when I'm trying to play with voltages inside the amplifier at the inputs. I use those. But I tried to play with the set of them and use a blocking cap and a diode and tie one end of the resistor together, and then on the other end open them up and isolate one end so it will stay at 50 ohms. But when I did that, they would induct each other and cause all kinds of stuff to go on. And I eventually got it to where I got it at 51.7 ohms, but it wouldn't stay stable. So like as soon as you start putting about 4 or 5 watts into it, your SWRs would. And I went in there with the scope and seen what was going on, and it's just saturating and causing all kinds of weird inductance. So I found out that using the carbon film is ideal. 5 watt. You know, you can use. I recommend building the 20 watt dummy load to begin with for your first dummy load. It's real simple. Then once you build that, you can get the 250 chip. It's a square 250 watt resistor 50 ohm chip. It looks like a fuse, a square with 2 holes in each side. And you bolt that down to like a heat sink, run a center conductor to one end, and you have a 250 watt dummy load. Those are the best, but obviously you've got to order that off the line. Y'all be good. 73s.